Okay, so this is the blog of the series of gang life. Um, the first episode I had to break up into three parts because my phone wasn't working right. So we're going to the second episode of after I got blessed in. So, like I was saying before, after I got initiated, shit got real. Okay. Now, just hanging out with them is different than actually being in the gang. You have to abide by rules. Now, everything about the gang wasn't bad. It was an organization. So we had rules that we had to abide by. And the 5 points of the star was the main rules. I apply those to my life now. So the way I walk around, the way I do things, I walk around demanding respect and loyalty. Them two of the points. Um, um, they come in handy in adult life. They do teach you that, and I live by that very much. So I do live by still to this day the 5 points of the star. You know, um, but again, like I said, I was young when I got involved in gangs. I was 13 years old. So, um, which ended me up in a lot of trouble. But I was mean. I was angry teen. So, me being involved in that at that time was because of me mentally inside of being, I felt like, I wasn't loved by family and stuff. So that was my family. And, and they treated me as such. Like, whatever trouble I did get into or whatever, the guys covered it up or whatever. So my job as the only girl at that time for that particular gang in set, because it was sets in that set of that side of the town that I was in. I was to recruit girls, and so that's what I did. So I had my own little girl gang, which made me become Lady K. uh so and we got into some trouble. I ain't even feel like we got into some trouble. Oh my God, some things I can't talk about, but we got into some trouble. We had to do things. We had to make money. We had to, you know, um, do things because we have to pay dues. Dues have to be paid and things of that nature and stuff like that. Um, Gang life is different, back then you couldn't even look at me wrong and we wasn't gonna fight, like that. I was the fighter, we'll jump you or something like that, or things of that nature, um but yeah, after the initiation, yeah, it got bad. I didn't know what I was in for, but it's a lesson learned. And I always say active. I was active then because once you become a gang member, you can't leave the gang unless death. And so it's a difference of being active and non-active. I'm non-active now because I'm grown as hell. I have children, but I used to be an active member of the Almighty Vice Lord Nation, CVL. So, but back around that time, my mom worked a lot, so um, I used to have my sisters and them, my little sisters with me and stuff. So they seen a lot at a young age when it came to me, and they You know, I try not to get them involved in a lot of stuff, but, you know, by them being with me, you know, I got my youngest sister hit by a car one time, knocked her front tooth, knocked her front tooth out and stuff like that. It was great. They used to see me getting into fights and all that stuff. You know, they have some stories to tell about it too. But at the end of the day, it was a lesson learned. I didn't talk about it much. And once I started to get older, because like I said, I moved around. One time my mom had got fed up and sent me with my grandma, and my grandma sent me back the next week. Because I ended up fighting some girl at the grocery store or whatever. You know, it was bad. Like, my grandma was like, nah, I can't do this, you know. And it was only a week I was there with her. Like, it was bad. I was horrible. Like, horrible. But, you know, like I said, it wasn't all bad, you know. But, like I said, it was rules and things you had to go by, and we had to go by them, or you was violated. And the violation was a beating, you know. So I wasn't going. Them niggas wasn't finna jump on me, you know. So yeah, but with that, it was just like everywhere I moved, I had to have a clique, you know. I had got into some trouble, um, um, and I ended up going to live with my dad, um, you know, and that's when things started to change. Now, when I went to live with my dad, my brother was a GD, so me and him used to fight all the time, because when you're in a gang, it don't matter if your family or whatever was a different gang, y'all just didn't get along. So my stepmom was like, used to have to call my daddy all the time, like, yo, kids in here tearing up this house. Like, we used to fight all the time, me and my brother. Me and him like this now, but we close now. But back then, when I first moved in with him, my dad and my stepmom, it was bad, you know. I used to wear, my clothing was gang related. My mom didn't know she was buying gang related clothes. She found out she was buying me gang related clothes because I had gotten in trouble at school, and the vice principal told her, she was like, well, do you know your daughter's in a gang? My mom was like, my daughter ain't in no gang. I'm just sitting there like and he was like, look at her clothes, like, these are gang colors. And then my mom looked at me and was like, you had me bad as shit and you knew it was for, you know. So she didn't know. And then one time, oh my God. So one time I had got jumped on by a bunch of Jamaicans. I always tell the story because it's the first time I ever got jumped in my life. It was snow outside, right? And it was this new girl at school. And I don't know, I was picking with her. I don't know why I was picking with her, but I was picking on her. And all day, me and my friends, we was picking on her and picking on her. And I decided to walk home by myself. I don't know why I walked home by myself, because I usually walk home with a gang of people. But I was walking home by myself, and I ran into her, and she had her family with her. And then we got to fighting, and you know, I was beating her up, and then that's when everybody in her family jumped on me. I got beat with sticks. I was kicked in my head. I was kicked. All I knew was balled up in the snow. I was just getting my ass whooped by a bunch of Jamaicans. I end up, once I made it home, I think these older people had broke it up or whatever, and I was frostbitten up and everything, bruised up and everything, and my mom, the first thing she said, somebody finally whooped your ass, huh? And that was one of the times. I was a little rough around the edges. I'm still rough around the edges, but I was rough around the edges back then. So I ended up moving with my dad, and formed a clique at the school I went to there. That's how I met my best friend Melanie and a few other people. And then I ended up moving to Mississippi. My dad had to move. We had to move to Mississippi. I had a clique here, but Mississippi is a whole different life. They didn't know about my gang life. In Milwaukee, when I moved my dad in Milwaukee, before we moved to Mississippi, I used to wear I was skinnier then, so I used to wear flannel colored flannels with half tops and baggy jeans. So when I moved to Mississippi, I had to be different because I don't think they really knew about gang life back then when I was down there, but I did have a little clique down there. I used to get suspended from school and stuff down there. And then I moved back with my mom, and she was staying in the suburbs in Illinois, and then she sent me to a mostly white school, and I formed a big clique there with a bunch of black girls. Okay, I had a boyfriend at the time. He was CBL there, and but we even got pictures of us throwing up the C. So they C stood for clique. We even had a name like clique, but my C stood for CBL and clique, because they couldn't be CBL because they wasn't blessed in the game. So it was clique. We even got pictures and stuff. So, we used to get suspended together, and stuff like that. It's just like I felt like I had to have a clique or a gang behind me because that's why I knew, that's why I lived by, and things of that nature. But yeah, afterwards, once I started having kids, it was basically time to calm it down, because I didn't want to raise my kids like that, to try to remove myself from the gang life. I still have the hood mentality. I'm still the tomboy. I'm still the hood girl, and I still have that hood mentality. That's never gonna go no man. That's how I walk around. And like I said, I still live by the 5 points of the star, because that's how I get my respect. I don't mention the gang life because I live a different life now, but the way I live my life is still with the loyalty and respect I learned from the gang. Gangs are not good, but back then it was organized. Now they are not organized. They are horrible. Back then, women and children off limits. Now nobody's off limits. So yeah, it's different then than it was. It's different. So I just wanted to put that out there. So this is the second episode of Gang Life with your girl Kiana J. Only my YouTube subscribers and followers and viewers will see this. This will not be posted on Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, or TikTok. Thank y'all, and I'll be back for another episode next week. Bye.